Spotlight is proudly sponsored by HEC Media, St. Louis's home for arts, education, and culture.
This is an old St. Louis story.
What we hope to do is to produce these drugs at a much lower cost.
The American dream is you want to work hard, you want to add value to the community.
Today on Spotlight, several artists working on the same canvas creating an amazing piece. Plus, engineers are growing plants, hoping they'll help them develop more affordable drugs. And then 2D and 3D art in any medium, why this yearly exhibit is always a huge hit. But first, a nonprofit started by a dentist helping kids smile confidently. It's Sunday and you're watching the multiple Emmy Award-winning Spotlight.
Visits to the dentist are a regular part of life for most kids, but for others, it's not that simple.
You see it everywhere, not only in St. Louis, but all over the country and all over the world, that so many kids just don't have access to dental care.
That need is what sparked Dr. Jeffrey Dalen to co-found Give Kids a Smile in 2001.
Give Kids a Smile is just basically, it's a program where we do full service dentistry for children who have no access to dental care.
It's always been a family affair. At age 10, Dr. Dalen's son Andy played games with kids in line, and his nephew Daniel helped out too. Now both those men join Dr. Dalen and volunteer as practicing dentists.
With a program like Give Kids a Smile, we can provide not only that dental care that's so highly needed, but also the education so both the kids and the parents are more educated about oral health in the future.
Giving back to the community and seeing the reaction of the families is priceless.
Twice a year, the men join other dentists, dental hygienists, and volunteers on the campus of St. Louis University. Their mission: give back to the community with free dental care.
There are a lot of children that have not been to the dentist ever in their lives. They have no access to dental care. That's the sad part, because they will have problems in school because they're in pain. They'll not eat properly. They have poor self-esteem. They don't want to smile and show their teeth.
For many families, the clinics are life-changing.
It's a blessing because she has had some dental issues that we've been trying to get taken care of. And to know that there's a service that's available to the community, to those that need the help.
The American Dental Association adopted the idea, and now every February, there are Give Kids a Smile clinics across the country.
And this is 2023. This is the United States of America. Kids should not be going to sleep in pain. And that's why we get plenty of volunteers here and around the country. I mean, millions of children have been seen since the American Dental Association adopted it. So we're talking, their estimate is 7-8 million children have received dental care.
In the fall of 2022, Give Kids a Smile focused on another vulnerable population in St. Louis: immigrants.
Some of them don't even speak English, but we somehow, a lot of hand motions and open, close, and things like that, we can get through it. And so everybody, had a good time.
It's really just an amazing experience. It's really hard to kind of put into words. It's a very positive atmosphere. Everyone is so gracious.
Clinics include everything from cleanings and fillings to bonding and other repairs. Families seeking care must make an appointment. Information is on the group's website, gkas.org.
Children, it's normal for them to be a little reluctant at first, but overall there's so much fun there that I think the kids generally leave on a very good note.
Since its beginning, Give Kids a Smile has provided more than 16,000 St. Louis area children with more than $9.5 million in dental care.
It just puts your mind at ease and makes your heart just feel so warm because you know that someone else out there has a concern for the children who need the help.
In 2022, the American Dental Association recognized Dr. Dalen with its Humanitarian of the Year award for his efforts.
I was speechless. I mean, it's just hard to fathom, that I could get anything like that. But again, it's as I said when I accepted the award, it's for everybody who's ever done a Give Kids a Smile program anywhere in the United States, anywhere in the world. So they all shared in that award, not just me.
It's been really cool to see all the recognition he's got for all of his hard work over the years. Obviously, this small little idea that started in St. Louis 20 years ago was adopted by the ADA the next year, and now 2 decades later, there's been millions of kids across the country who have gotten free dental work that they wouldn't have otherwise gotten without this program.
Give Kids a Smile will be celebrating their 20th anniversary with a Roaring 20s Gala on Saturday, February the 4th. For more info, visit gkas.org.
Scan the QR code on your screen to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
We are here at the St. Louis Artists Guild for the Mandala Art Project and Arts Collective exhibition and Visions of Form and Space exhibition. The Mandala Art Project consists of 5 artists working simultaneously together on a series of paintings, using mandalas as a jumping point, as a way to create a sense of community. They work together to heal. It may help them find a sense of themselves in the piece, all dealing with form and shape and lots of color to create these wonderful compositions. The artists involved in this collective are Nancy Early, Gray Finch, Maria Ojas Castro, Valera Preto, and Mary Beth Tipton. With this series, each painting was painted on by each artist involved in the collective, so each artist would move painting to painting, working on an aspect of the painting, while each adding their own elements to that painting, creating an overall composition. So all of the artists are represented in each piece. There's not one piece in the show that each artist hasn't put their own touch on. As we move through the gallery, you will encounter Visions of Form and Space, which is a national juried exhibition of artists working in form and space concepts of art through the idea of abstraction. So every artist has different approaches to how they're dealing with the idea of form and space, but they're using lots of color, there's lots of abstraction, they could be geometric. There's also lots of media on display, so you will see paintings, drawings, there's some fiber work, sculpture, there's lots of things for everyone to see. This exhibition was juried by Brian D. Smith. Brian is a professor out at St. Charles Community College teaching drawing and painting, and also is the gallery director at the college. And you can see his influence on the selection of the work in the gallery. Both exhibitions are dealing with abstraction in vague senses, so abstract art could be something that's non-representational, but it could also be semi-representational. And each show in our gallery is dealing with these concepts. So through the entire gallery, you're going to see artists taking these different approaches to this basic understanding of form and shape and composition that's going to allow for all of these opportunities to see wonderful different ways of viewing abstraction. Both of these exhibitions are on display through February 11th at the St. Louis Artists Guild. You can find more information about these exhibitions on our website at www.stlouisartistsguild.org.
HEC Media, supporting and promoting the arts. Check out our features and shows on theater, dance, music, the visual arts, and more. Find this and all our award-winning content at hecmedia.org.
We're developing plant-based expression systems to bring therapeutics to market that are much more affordable. I'm Tom Britnell. I'm the CEO of Biopharma Greens. Think about cancer treatments or even vaccines that are out of reach for the average American, and this is in part due to production costs. So what we hope to do with biopharma is use a robust platform to produce these drugs at a much lower cost. There's many different expression systems. They've been worked on for decades, but no one's really focused on the plant side of things. So these are a couple of the different lettuce varieties that we're working with for one particular protein. Lettuce is a diploid, it's got good genetics, and it's been bred for many, many years for humans, right? So we can eat lettuce, and so it's a very safe organism to start with, and it's got a very solid genetic platform to engineer. The idea is we're going to focus on the plant, engineering the plant genetics to optimize the production of these therapeutics. And then we would grow to the scale that we need for our particular therapeutic. Right now, our lead candidate is a vaccine. We're also looking at a protein that could be used in a diagnostic test and another protein that would be used as a monoclonal antibody therapy. Those are confidential now, so we're still in the process of filing IP. A vaccine, we've calculated we would need about 2 heads of lettuce to get into a clinical trial. But if we're using a growth hormone, we may need, close to an acre of material to produce it in that quantity. Lettuce is one, but we're also considering some other plant systems for production. We grow the plants. We use a process known as agroinfiltration. So we introduce a bacterium that contains the gene we want into the leaf cells. That bacterium will introduce a gene into those plant cells, and then it'll co-opt the plant cells to produce the protein that's in the vector we give it. So that means we can produce very large quantities of a single protein in every cell of this leaf that are transformed with that bacteria. So we can go from our DNA template to having milligram quantities of protein in 3 to 5 days. So that's a very rapid iteration. So after about 5 days, we'll go in and just cut off all the lettuce, and we extract it in a relatively straightforward extraction protocol. And then we would purify it like you would purify any other therapeutic in a production system. Any protein that you want to produce in large quantities quickly, this is a potential system. We can test the different varieties, so there may be differences between one lettuce variety that is more beneficial for a particular therapeutic, but we can also engineer the protein itself to express better in a plant system. It could be used to treat anything, any condition where a protein therapeutic is currently being used. This is a viable replacement production system.
Looking for more videos like this to let your science students see science and engineering in practice? Go to our educational website, educate.today. Use the keyword phrase scientific practice. Teaching immigrants to code, later on Spotlight.
The world is full of people who will die in a place where they never expected to live. That is the first sentence of the introduction to a new book about a not-so-new story. The arrival of tens of thousands of Bosnians to St. Louis, starting in the early 1990s.
One of the important distinctions between an immigrant and a refugee is that whole notion of choice.
The Bosnians that came to St. Louis were refugees fleeing a terrible war and the worst European genocide since World War II. Bosnian St. Louis, Between Two Worlds, is a new book published by the Missouri Historical Society, written by 2 men who know that experience well. Patrick McCarthy, who has been helping Bosnians resettle in St. Louis since 1993, and who later personally went to Bosnia to deliver humanitarian aid, and Akif Kogo, a Bosnian refugee who has become the St. Louis Bosnian community's historian and archivist.
It's very hard to say that there is someone in Bosnia that doesn't know someone or is not related to someone that lives in St. Louis. Just this past summer when I went to Bosnia, it was very common to see several individuals a day somewhere in the city that live in St. Louis.
Our future and our well-being is bound up with the success of these new American communities. And that's one of the things we wanted to accomplish with the book, is to say, okay, well, let's look at one of these new communities. What were the struggles that brought them here? But ultimately, how have they enriched the life of St. Louis?
Why this book? And if I can add a question to it, why now?
So the war in Bosnia started in 1992. So we've got 30 years, which then starts to feel like history. You know, before that, it was almost current events. There's another generation, now a generation and a half of Bosnians who have called St. Louis home. The initial refugees who came are having children and in a lot of cases grandchildren. So the timing seemed right.
How did they end up in the Bevo area initially? Because I think most people, if you say where are the Bosnians in St. Louis, would say, oh, down by the Bevo Mill, they're still there. A lot of them aren't there anymore, but how did they end up there in the first place?
Well, I think the initial the waves of the refugees, they were settling down in the areas of Grand and Arsenal, in the state streets, and they were moving slowly towards south. And Bevo Mill area, I think, was more so relatable to them based on the German heritage of the place, because many Bosnians did spend significant time in Germany, some of them several years before coming to the States. So that was the familiar factor for them. And availability of the housing in that particular area was fairly significant, and that helped out in terms of getting affordable apartments at first and then purchasing affordable housing.
As the Bosnians gradually moved into those neighborhoods, they really brought back a neighborhood life. And they saw business opportunity in these vacant storefronts and started restaurants, cafes, travel agency, small grocery stores, butcher shops. So all of the commerce to support the community that was moving in there. And it was just like life came back. But like a lot of other immigrant and refugee populations, you continue to look for opportunity, and people just seek that greater opportunity out in the county. So it's really now ready for the next immigrant or refugee population to come. We're an immigrant city. In the 19th century, when the first Bosnians came, we sometimes forget at that time half of the population of the city of St. Louis had been born in a foreign country. So this is an old St. Louis story in that sense, but it's one that's good for us to remind ourselves that's what creates this kind of vitality and renewing character to cities like St. Louis.
To find out if St. Louis has a good reputation in Bosnia, watch the full interview at hecmedia.org.
It's time to celebrate new beginnings. But first, HEC Media takes a look back at 2022. It was another year of award-winning work, providing educational content and entertainment, positive programming, and coverage of our community, arts and authors, education and culture, interviews, science, and more. Find it all at hecmedia.org.
Today we're at Webster Arts for our Open Theme Annual for 2023. This is an exhibit of many different artists, different artworks, different mediums. There's no particular theme, it's just the best of the best. Our Open Theme Annual is an opportunity for artists to show the work they're most proud of, the work that they have put the most effort into, things that are perhaps not going to fit into other open calls, but that they have the opportunity to show off the best of their work. When entering our gallery, you're met initially with a variety of mediums from Lego art to metalwork, acrylic, mixed media, fiber. This show runs the gamut of all types of artwork. So this is a fantastic show if you really want to be able to see a variety of artwork, a variety of medium, and to really be challenged and exposed to many different types of art. This show was curated by artist Jessie Rose Crane. She has a background in sculpture and other mixed media art, and so you can really see her expertise and skill in what she has curated here. Webster Arts is a community arts organization, and we feature between 6 and 7 open-called nationally juried shows each year, community events, and workshops. We love to have the community into our gallery to learn and to explore. Our purpose and our goal is to help people bring art to life in their own lives. Webster Arts is pleased to be in Webster Groves, which is, of course, a city of the arts and home to many different artists. This is a community that loves and appreciates and encourages the arts, and so we are very pleased to be able to exhibit artists who live in our community. We'd love to have you join us here at Webster Arts. For more information on this show, which runs through February 17th, please visit our website, webster-arts.org.
HEC Media. Recognized, celebrated, honored time and again for excellence in the industry. Find all of the award-winning content at hecmedia.org.
Every evening after dinner, Sandy Keel heads to the refrigerator. The vial of drops is a form of immunotherapy, helping her tolerate environmental allergens like mold and pollen.
Especially in the fall with all the dead leaves and everything, I would be wheezing and shortness of breath and just watery eyes.
Allergies are one of the leading causes of chronic illness in the U.S. Many people have experienced allergies to pets, food, or pollen, and experienced the traditional allergy shots for treatment. But for Sandy, a few drops under the tongue are far easier than weekly injections at the doctor's office. New research from the University of Missouri shows drop therapy may be more cost-effective for the U.S. healthcare system, too.
This compares these therapies, which are very close in their efficacy, and says, all right, well, they both work pretty well, and both of them have grade A evidence, and one is cheaper than the other.
The research team looked at both drop and shot therapy, comparing how well patients stuck with the treatments, the success rate, and the cost to health insurance providers. In the majority of cases, researchers found drops to be the clear winner.
One of the reasons we did this study was to try to show that, there's a lot of conditions where you can do the drops and they help a lot of people and they can save our system potentially a lot of money.
Sandy Keel would agree. Insurance companies don't always cover allergy drops, but the hope is that the research will encourage more of them to do so.
The drops have been really effective. I just love that I can just do it here at home. The cost is very reasonable for me. I'm just thrilled.
This group of new graduates at Claim Academy may not have cap and gowns, but what they do have is a second chance.
Congratulations.
These Afghan immigrants just completed a 12-week program in software development and coding. Some have been in the United States for barely a year. The Afghan immigrants attend the school free of charge thanks to a scholarship program through the International Institute of St. Louis.
I studied 2 years of my bachelor degree in Afghanistan and then in business administration field. Then since we came here, I really love to start an ID information technology field.
We can apply in the Java programming and also web development side and the front-end and back-end coding. It will help a lot for us and for my career and also for my family.
Claim Academy's founder is Ola Ayeni. Originally from Nigeria, he moved his family to St. Louis after winning an Arch grant for a restaurant marketing company, Eataria. While running that company, he saw a need for software developers in St. Louis.
I decided to solve it. And in solving it, I came across the idea to start a software programming bootcamp. And with that, we launched our first class back in 2015 with 4 people, and we got all of them hired. And then the next class was 6, 8, and then from there we grew incredibly, where we have people from across the nation coming to St. Louis to learn from us to become a software developer. So our process really involves us making sure that during the journey of learning hard skills of programming, we at the same time teach soft skill. And by the time our students get to their 6th week, we expose them to employers in a meaningful way.
The Afghan students are enthusiastic, but some cultural differences did arise.
So we face some challenges, but we work very hard with them. One of the things that we're very ecstatic about the Afghan community and the people that we work with is that there's a lot of individuals who are excited about the opportunity and willing, right? And I believe, I always say there are 3 things you need to be a software developer. One is to believe that you can do it, the willingness to learn, and the third one is that you make a commitment to be here. Those 3 things, if you are making it happen, you will be successful. Now that we've done the first class, we know what to expect, we know where we need to lay emphasis. We believe that a lot of people who are immigrants has a lot to offer.
Many Claim Academy graduates land high-paying jobs in IT. Their skills are in high demand in St. Louis, and it's hoped that the new immigrants and their families will put down roots in St. Louis.
There's a need for coding in our economy more and more and more. This is a 12-week course, intensive, immersive coding course that enables people to come out of it and get jobs. 92% of the people who complete the program get high-paying jobs averaging over $70,000 a year.
St. Louis is welcoming Afghan refugees in unprecedented ways with privately funded programs that provide rent, job training, a community center, and even soccer for the children. Agencies such as the International Institute, Oasis, and Welcome Neighbor St. Louis are but a few organizations that help with basic needs. The privately funded Afghan resettlement program goes a step beyond. It's hoped that Afghan refugees who have settled in other parts of the U.S. will hear about St. Louis and move here. If these graduates have a say in it, programs such as this make St. Louis a great place to land.
St. Louis is a real good place because it has a lot of opportunities for all the people, especially as I see for new Afghan arrivals.
There is the cost of living is lower than other state in cities, and also I have a lot of friends and some family members are here too.
This is the beginning of the journey. The process ends when you are sitting at the desk with a group of people and talking code. The American dream is, you want to come here, you want to work hard, you want to add value to the community. And many of the issues that we have, a lot of people look past that and they just focused on, I want to make something good of my life in this environment. And whatever the case may be, people are willing to start from nothing.
1, 2, 3, money.
Next week, culturally responsive teachers author a book, plus an art exhibit inside a hotel. Thanks for watching Spotlight. Join us next Sunday at 9:30 a.m. on KPLR 11.